myself started. And there we go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Adventure on So Many Levels. We're going to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
And my camera is in a slightly different position than it used to be, which is surprisingly very distracting. Because now it's right here instead of right here. Right here, here. And that wouldn't be a big problem, except that I'm very used to seeing specific things so that I can kind of be looking at the camera and still see all the other things that I need to see.
Looks fine to me. I don't know what the problem is.
It's because I'm amazing.
Oh, that's it.
Our players tonight: Shoot Schubert as Autarky,
Hello, hello.
Nirakina Ethu as Starla Hutchton, or, strike that, reverse it.
Salutations and greetings.
It's the camera position, I told you. Jenny Meltzer as Cadence of the Water.
Hello.
James Meltzer as Ket of the Sands.
I just flew in from work, and boy, are my arms tired.
Classic. Mark Kilfoyle as Alark Copperbeard.
If I said I could stop the world for you, would that sound really cheesy right now?
I think it would work, but then you do have to melt with each other. And last but not least, Vivid Muse as Amethyst.
Hey, y'all.
So, adventurers, thank you for holding on for an extra week, because I was very busy with work last week and could not join you to play last week. But here we return now, and when last we left the heroes of legend, you're gods now. You kind of started to slowly figure out what that actually means. The world, perhaps the entire universe, seems to be frozen in time, all except for you guys. You have, to thank for this perhaps, 6 golden keys, which seem to have been granted to you by this whole process. But you also, when you all held the keys, discovered that there is a panel that appears that seems to be primed to restart all of time, but it has 7 keyholes in it. Just 6 of you, though. Who has that?
Who's got the other key? Who's got it? Me. I
It's
wish
the
to
mystery.
know who has the other key.
I'm
That's-
pretty sure it's just a contractor mistake. There was a slip of the digit somewhere, and
Yeah,
That's what
it's
happens
like
when
in
you
Spinal
can't
Tap, where they confused the little inches in the feet symbol and got their big concert backdrop that was this big. It's pretty much, yeah. So probably there is no 7th key. It's all just a big goose chase. You'll have to find out. Anyway, though, you found yourselves in this frozen in time world back at Nira's home of Farusha, the secret high elf city hidden, I was about to say deep within, and it's like, no, actually, up high, like, not, like deep into the sky on the upper slopes of Mount Rashama. But you found this city largely depopulated and showing signs of battle. Making your way to the head council chamber, you discovered the only remains of the council was an elven woman who, once you used your magic to release her from the time stop, turns out to be Nira's grandmother, whom Nira does not remember because she still has not recovered her memories from the Dragon's Bargain. You all learned that the rest of the High Elves, despairing after the loss of their spirit, the spirit of Mount Rashama, they believed the Dark Elves living below the mountain were responsible, and have ventured below in search of vengeance. And that's pretty much where we left things. I guess you also learned that the demon ritual summoning that was, the nominal stolen moment itself has been returned back to that spot. Seems to be primed to let that demon go on its rampage as soon as you start things back up. So, you're still there with Nira's grandmother. You seem to have made a bit of a plan, but now it's time to follow through. So, Heroes of Legend, what do you want to do? Everyone's still frozen.
Everybody go at once.
Yeah,
Right.
We'll need to know the route the army took. The quickest way to catch up with them.
Yes, your grandmother does have this map of the path they took. That she,
Doesn't necessarily have to be the quickest. If everything's frozen, we can take as much time as we need. And frankly, we probably shouldn't get too close to the army, because if we do, well, they might start waking up or unfreezing.
I am going to point to where I am holding on to apparently my grandmother's arm. Is that I don't think that's the issue.
Well, the squirrel came to life even just as it approached us. The intent was all that was needed there.
no, you grabbed it with your mage hand.
Yep, but I wasn't physically touching it.
Yeah.
The magic was. And with Anarchy and his auras, I don't know how far those extend now, but that might be enough if his magic affects them.
30 feet.
We'll want to be careful.
Well, regardless, we'll need to talk to them anyway and try to convince them to deviate from the plan.
Yeah.
Unless we put the blockade up that they couldn't pass through to get to where they're trying to go.
What if we took... I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't believe I've caught your name.
That's quite all right. My name is, sorry, one moment. I didn't actually...
I don't have a first name for her, but her last name is the same as mine.
Right, yeah, I was just sort of kicking myself because I was realizing that, of course, I know her name because it is, Lupisha Ethu.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you in name. Did we introduce ourselves?
Nira introduced you.
Right. Your words might hold more to these soldiers than ours. She could travel with us.
Well, I wish that were true, that they would listen to me, but they did not before. That is why I am here alone.
What about, like, if you could somehow provoke, like, an act of Rushama to restore their faith? And show them that the Dark Elves had nothing to do with it, and that they have to turn back.
Are you talking to Lupisha or to
I'm just
Nira?
talking out loud to, like,
Okay.
Nira and her grandmother.
Yeah, so Nira's grandmother looks to her.
You're a cleric of Rushama, aren't you? Or you were?
I would say that I am, but I have not felt Rushama or had any of my prayers answered. Not since the battle with the Dark Spirit. As I mentioned, the very last I felt his presence was when he told me to wait for you.
Do you sense him at all now? Is there...
I sense something in you, but it is different from before. I
you-
cannot claim to understand exactly what is happening.
Did you share the last time that you felt Rushama? Did you share that with people that he had told you to wait for Nira to return?
Yes.
So what if we show up there and there's Nira? That is a sign from Rushama in itself.
Yes. Absolutely. I don't know what would persuade them. Some of them, I fear, have begun to drown themselves in despair. And I don't know that they are all entirely rational, but some would listen.
What about Nira's mother and father?
They thought her dead.
Are they you said that they're not leading this army, are they?
They are officers of a sort. I don't know what you understand of elven military hierarchy, but they are not themselves the leaders. But then again, this mission is personal for all who journey there. It is somewhat less organized than the wars of the past have been.
Would you be willing to come with us?
I would. I am somewhat concerned about what would be happening here, leaving this place unprotected. But, and then she kind of like looks out the window and sees everything frozen and saying, but I'm not sure I understand everything that's happening right now. Is it safe?
Yeah.
Well, everything's stopped, so the only reason that you're with us now is because of the contact between us. There's very, very powerful magic in play.
If you believe I would be of help, I will absolutely travel with you. But I would ask that you leave any protection here you feel would be necessary. If everything here is safe, then very well. I just fear to leave my home unprotected.
Do you know how to protect yourself by any chance? Like, are you versed in the ways of magic or combat at all?
I once knew divine magics as a high cleric, but I have not felt the presence of my magic since I last heard from the spirit.
What about right now? Do you feel anything now? Try to cast a spell that you once knew.
Anybody need healing?
No?
Hey, Alaric, look at this. And I slap Alaric across the face really hard.
You realize it's only going to work for a few seconds.
Lupicia gives Nira a look like,
Now look, now you tried to heal Alaric. I'm sure that damaged him one
These are
hit
your
point or
friends.
something.
In a few seconds later, you see the wound kind of fade away.
Oh, man.
What Lupicia does is say, she reaches out to Nira and says, "Take my hand and we'll pray together."
All right.
I sense his presence in you, but I don't feel him the way I did before, where he seems to be everywhere, all around me. This feels strange
What?
to admit to my granddaughter, but I'm afraid.
Well, it's kind of welcome to my world. I learned a few things not so long ago, although it feels like forever. What I carry was the last remnants of Rushama. He had become corrupted and weak, and what was left of what he was, it now is with me. I didn't know that anyone else knew about any of this.
Well, so often the answers to these questions simply come down to the ways of the spirits are strange. And I cannot pretend to understand, but I try to have faith. And so, in believing that what I sense in you is indeed the spirit of Rushama, if different than how I knew him before, then I will have faith. And she reaches out just to to take your hand and basically cast guidance into you. And the magic sort of glows in her hand, and she sort of gasps as the spell works. Well, there's an answer, I suppose.
Things are looking up already.
It might not be much, but it's something.
So, when we go and we waken these people, when we leave them again, they will go back to the way they were. Just like if we left you here, you would also go back to being frozen in time. So there is the possibility that after we go and do what we need to do, we could always come back here so that you would be here when we restart time again.
Am I not coming with you?
No, I mean, when we're done, we could bring you back here because you were worried about protecting this place.
I think, given the nature of what we have to do, if someone has to keep in physical contact with her the entire time, I don't know that that's going to be feasible.
You haven't been in physical contact with her. You haven't been, literally touching her the whole time.
Oh, I thought I was, so.
Well, okay. Well, so I was assuming that you weren't necessarily. But if you were, then that's fine. You could certainly still have made that conclusion. But you haven't tried it.
Then I will let go and see what happens.
Okay. Quick note, Starla. Again, your volume is lower than everybody else's.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
You let go, and she kind of looks around like you guys expect something to happen. She's not sure what's supposed to happen, but she does not freeze again.
But the squirrel did when we moved away from it.
Right.
So long as she is within our presence, maybe she will stay this way.
Yeah.
I mean, right now you guys are kind of all standing around her.
Maybe we should walk away and test it.
She has a very valid point that should something happen to us, someone should be here as a backup.
Which is why I said we could always bring her back here. How far away is the army from where this place is now?
It's only a few days' travel. But they left a week ago. They would have reached the Dark Elf lands already.
I can stay if you want. I kind of caused this whole mess in the first place. So I mean, I don't mind staying behind for a little bit if it warrants protection.
That kind of argues that you should be there, follow this through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
guess.
I think we should all stay together.
Yeah.
Do we really want to put? I'm going to not be a turtle. I can't remember what form I was in at the end of the last
Yeah,
episode.
I think you had been a turtle again, but that's fine. You can change back.
Yeah, yeah. So in humanoid form, I just don't know that we need to bring your grandmother near. It seems unduly risky. If it sounds like your parents are going to be relieved enough to see that you're alive, do we need to risk her? Have the whole family down there if something goes bad?
Well, and if something does happen to me, something happens to us, there would at least be someone left that remembers Rushama.
I tell you what, it's your family. Whatever you want to do, I will do whatever you want.
So I kind of
Same.
look at my grandmother and how would you feel about either way? Would you rather stay here?
I would gladly accompany you. But I believe that you don't need me. I believe that simply seeing you and those who have ears to listen at all will hear the voice of Rashama within you.
So, I have a weird sort of question. How will we recognize Nira's mother and father since she can't remember what they look like? Like, do you have a portrait or something that you could show us, or somewhere that we could go and look at it so we know who to look for?
Or conjure an image if you can do that.
She looks to you, Nira, and truly you do not remember even your own parents? What?
No.
What bargain is this that you made? Can it be undone? Have you tried?
There may be a way.
Yeah. It's currently
There
beyond
were-
us.
Yeah. There were more pressing issues at the time, but
Have you asked Rushama?
something with the way things are right now, the connection is unclear. I think the state of the world as you see it outside of us affects him as well.
I did not sense that when I feel it within you, but I don't understand what's happening. But I know that for my hundreds of years of life, when I needed something, I prayed to Rashama for it.
Well, I mean, I suppose it would be worth a shot, but
I performed the rituals, but I don't know if those rituals are the same anymore.
well, I was once told that it was whatever I wanted it to be. And as I told Alaric, it's a lot about intent.
Can I help?
I think it might be something I have to do on my own. There's some information that I need, and I think I know where to get it.
Very well. I'm sure that whatever this is, it's happening for a reason, and that when you need your memories, you will have them.
Well, made it this far.
I have to say, I'm a little frustrated that I felt like I made such progress in understanding the nature of the world and how it's changed, and here you don't even remember how I used to be.
I'm sure I would be very impressed. From what I know of our people, even the idea of change and making other choices was anathema to who we are. So to hear you speak the way you have says much.
Then I hope that it will also say much to realize what your people, many of them, have done, gone down beneath the mountain, expecting to never return because they believe all is lost. They have lost all of that which they thought they knew as well, but they have given into despair. You will need to show them something else, another way to react to the changing of their world.
That will be something I have to think about very, very hard. Did anyone else have any other questions? I think there are some things we need to discuss.
Thousands of questions, but most of them can wait, I think. There's still a battle ahead. It's just not the battle that they prepared for. And they might still have to fight. But hopefully they'll fight for the right reasons.
Well, if I am beginning to understand the situation we find ourselves in better, then I'm sure I'll be right here where you left me if you ever need to ask me anything.
Please stay safe. I think I would like to talk with you a little more, maybe when I remember a bit more about who you are.
Of course. I don't know if I will dream while I'm frozen, but if I can think of things, I will be thinking of you.
I'll kind of nod and step away and... Okay.
Is everyone else still standing around the table, or?
I walk away.
Just stare her right in the eyes, just stand there. No. Go ahead and walk with them.
I find a window and defenestrate. No.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean,
My
like, unless you
stars.
guys are literally just, like, locking eyes with her as you back up, you know, it's a subtle
No.
effect. But I think gradually you realize as you've made your, you know, some distance away, you turn back to look, and she's, you know, waving as if to say goodbye, but you realize she's no longer moving.
All right. Well,
Shades of the City of Amber.
At least we know she's still alive.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. As are your parents, Nirkina.
Well, maybe.
Oh, they
If
were.
they've already reached if they've already reached the land of the Dark Elves, there's no telling.
Plus, there was
What
also
anybody's
that
status is.
assassin.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, Alaric, would you be interested in taking... we have time. Ket still needs to recover. I'm not comfortable trying to restart time when he's unable to do anything. So, I said that there was some information that I needed and that I knew where to get it. And that is back at your home, Alaric.
Yeah, okay. Why, sure. What do you need to know from there?
I need to speak with Father Igni, actually.
All right. I'm sure that we can make our way there.
We could probably just plane shift there right now.
Well, we would have
Well,
to
no, we'd have
do
to
it twice.
Yeah. Well, no.
So,
Don't you have to be
that-
on a different plane of existence to plane shift?
well, that was kind of where I was going with that, is if, I don't know, if Ket and Cadence, if you wanted to check on your city, we could make a stop there before we head to the mountains.
I mean, we have time. We have lots of time.
I mean, it would be nice to see what's going on there now. Even
Amethyst has plane shift armed as well, so
The only thing that
Yeah.
bothers me is that there's a seventh person with another key out there.
Oh, true.
I wish
Maybe we will find them.
maybe. And I hope we'll find them sooner rather than later.
They may be looking for us.
I was just going to say, yeah, maybe they'll find us.
what about
Well, if
sending
it's-
to Melicanth?
She would be frozen.
Would she?
If
We
Not
don't
if she has
know.
a key.
I think if Melikant had the key, we would have heard from her by now.
But that,
Yeah.
you're just assuming. You gotta stop assuming, though. I mean, maybe she's like, "What happened? Where did I get this key?" The only way to find out is to try to cast sending and see if she answers.
She's pretty smart, though. Like, I could scry on her if... I mean, the last we knew, she was still in that prison. But
Yeah.
I don't really know what's left of that prison anymore.
Well,
It would at least
no
give-
matter what, Ket needs to rest. I think he may as well do that at his home.
it would give us another idea of how far this spreads. Maybe it doesn't.
Hmm.
Maybe it doesn't spread to the astral plane.
Indeed.
Or
Amethyst said that it did.
I'm not 100% clear on what it is, and I would love to go back and check on the tree and on your families. That'll give us an idea of what's going on outside of what's in our view.
and if the tree itself is not slumbering, would you not be able to use it, Cadence, to help us get wherever we want to?
It would depend on whether or not it was still blocked. Like if
Yeah,
it's not
strong
awake,
enough.
I mean,
It was still working its way out of Amber.
We won't know until we lay eyes on it, I guess.
or like lay hands on it.
so I'm gonna dig around in this bag of holding and pull out the tuning fork for the Astral Sea. Are we doing this?
Yeah, I think we are.
Okay.
Hey, we made the
Hey, wait.
decision.
All right.
Wow, in record time.
Holy cow, it didn't take an hour.
Just had to have time to thought for us to consider.
Yeah. So as you gather around to prepare the plane shift spell, your DM gently smiles that this episode was called "Under the Mountain." And,
We'll get there.
yeah. No, it's
Coming back.
I'm teasing. It's totally fine.
The long
but
way.
Yeah. So you guys are where are you aiming within the astral sea? Where, like
The
what are you visualizing
temple.
specifically? The temple.
The temple where the last place that I plane shifted us to when we were trying to
Right.
run the Marut.
Hey, isn't there an orb somewhere near there?
Might be.
Mm-hmm. That is
Oh.
where you last had the that crystal ball of scrying.
Let's shoot for there.
All right. So you gather together, you focus on visualizing that temple chamber.
Mhm. Everybody
And-
hold their hands with their buddy system.
Here's a question for all of you to briefly entertain. If someone else were standing in the room with you, what would it look like to them when you plane shift?
I feel like it's sort of like when they're beaming in Star Trek. It's just kind of this shimmery,
See, I felt like it was
dissipation.
Disintegration.
I felt like it was more like disapparating in Harry Potter.
Just
Twisty.
Twisted.
does it make a noise?
I don't know, but now I want to cast See Invisibility to find out who the hell else is in this room.
Can I roll perception?
Does it make a noise?
Snap.
It depends on where we're going. The sound would be something.
TARDIS.
It would be something that would. I don't know. I don't
We're
know.
going to the nine hells.
It makes
or
a noise, I
something.
guess.
Like if we were going to the hells or whatever, it would be like a bunch of people screaming in agony.
Nice.
Probably wouldn't be very effective though when we're trying to outrun stuff though. So that seems like a poor idea.
Oh, that's where they're going.
I recognize those screams. Yeah, so
Yeah.
in any event, all of that happens. And as you find yourselves reappearing within the familiar temple chamber, it is familiar, but you notice that there is a distinct lack of amber coating all over everything. And in fact, the room looks as though it has been freshly tidied and cleaned. It is currently empty at the moment, but the tree, the part of the tree that's there is in the room is there. There is no amber on it. The room is quiet and empty, but with gentle torchlight.
I would like to walk up to the tree and put my hand on it and see if I can feel what I felt when I was younger and I would climb the tree to go to other planes.
There is a little bit of a sense at first like it's just any solid substance that doesn't give you any kind of a special connection. But then gently as you hold it, it's a bit like, gently waking someone up. There's just, there's a moment where you feel that it wasn't there for you, but then it slowly is.
So it was like with Nira's grandmother, the tree is frozen too.
Ooh.
Well, that would make sense because it's alive, right?
But I mean, that just, really shows to show the power we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Oof.
Amethyst wants to put hands on it as well, and
You recognize, too, it takes a moment maybe to notice that the gentle torchlight, you go over and look at the torches, and the flame is literally, like, solid, stationary.
cool.
Oh, so
So,
Amethyst goes over.
Yeah, so what is she getting from the tree now that it's awake?
So as it's coming awake, I think you have, given your repeated communing with the tree and your intuitive understanding of its needs, its previous communication with it on that level, you definitely sense uh, more vitality than you had felt before, but you realize that it is so big as it is beginning once again to grow that even as you stand there in contact with it, waking this part of it, that you're not it's not all of it. You kind of gradually wake bits of it that you're in the presence of, but you're not getting the entirety of it. But what you feel from it is healthy. It is beginning to regrow. Not like right the second, but that was what it was in the process of doing.
Fantastic.
So, in noticing the distinct lack of amber, kind of look at Cadence. Say, do you happen to know where Arius might be?
I will reach out mentally and see if Arius responds.
You might try your dragon sense thingy. Because he's frozen.
Yeah,
So-
that's true. Yeah, but it'll be hard to find him because, he hides inside things. So, I mean, even if I can sense him, we probably won't be able to find him. I will do that. My primeval awareness
Okay.
to see if I can sense any dragons around.
You don't, but you sense something that feels kind of dragon adjacent.
It's weird. I can't.
Other than
You
me.
can't pinpoint anything, but there's
Yeah.
something.
I mean, there's something, but and it could just be Archie's mask. I don't know. But I mean, I sense something, but not like before. I mean, the amber is gone, and he was a little amber dragon.
But he wasn't made of the tree.
He was made of like ambery type stuff. He had all those amber gems. Like,
That's why I was concerned, yeah. If the
I'm-
amber's gone, what happened to the dragon?
While he might not be able to move through the amber like he did, I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, maybe he's something else now? I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll keep an eye.
Now,
I'm sure he's fine, and maybe he did get changed by all of what's going on, but hell, I think half the universe will be changed, so
yeah.
Well, apparently now we've met some of my family, so I think it's Cat and Cadence's turn.
well, that is a thought.
I'm good with that.
At least we're not running through this time.
Oh, I wanna, speaking of running through, this place looks like it's been cleaned up, but I'm going to do a visual sweep for the crystal ball that we dropped.
You realize that it is not where you tossed it. But as you kind of glance around the room, you see that it has been placed on a velvet cushion kind of off to one side, but like in a, on a corner of the little, dais that is at the center of this chamber. So it's like slightly out of the way, but still in a like prominent position. but it's sitting on a little cushion.
I mean, if I take it, it's technically not stealing because it was mine to begin with, right?
Well, I mean, I think they know where it came from because he did see us when we came in.
Just
So-
thank them for it. Just thank them so they don't think someone else stole it.
I guess I could leave him a note saying thanks for keeping it safe.
Lost and found worked.
Well, if we're going to meet a few people, we can explain it to them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the crystal ball then.
Yoink.
It's all good.
So I want
It
to see what the
explodes.
outside.
No.
Yeah, of course. I want to see
Root's eye. No.
what outside of this temple looks like. But I'm
Yeah.
not having to run away from it again. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm going to step out.
Okay. You step out into, because there's a couple of corridors that lead, to the outside. But one of the things that you catch out of the corner of your eye as you're making your way down those hallways is that you see at the far end, first of all, you see that there are a few places where there's still little flakes of amber kind of in the corners of the wall. And you realize that in most places, what has flaked off the walls has been tidied up, like swept away. But, they missed some spots here and there. But what you also see is at the far end of one of these hallways, there is the little sitting room where you once had a conversation with Custos Vigil, and you just catch, just the tail of a tabaxi kind of, in view from that room as you're walking by.
Does the tail look familiar to someone who would have spent their life studying it?
Yes, Cadence, that is Shadow of a Star's Tale, the monk of the Spanix Codex that you studied under.
I will sort of rush in that direction.
It is also this same monk that that was actually there when you guys kind of popped through. But you hurry into that room and you see him sitting cross-legged at a little table and about to take a big bite of a sandwich. Sweat.
I just laugh because it's the most ridiculous thing ever. Because he was always having to put off eating to take care of business. And here he is trying to eat again, and he doesn't get to. It's so unfair.
His tail is up in kind of like a happy twitching position, but, frozen.
I'm going to actually walk over to him and kneel down and put my hand on his shoulder.
So, as you've seen before, at first, it's his shoulder is just utterly solid like a stone statue, but then gradually the fur almost seems to like melt under your hand as your hand sinks into it, and he softens and warms, and then all of a sudden jerks to the side and drops the sandwich and says, "Oh! Cadence? You, where did you just come from?"
You wouldn't believe me if I told you, although you might.
Well, I believe a lot more things now than I used to.
Yeah, I bet. Everything is frozen right now.
Frozen?
Ket sort of did this thing and everything seems frozen.
Is
You
everyone
were
else followed Cadence into the room, or is?
Oh yeah, I'm like right up next
Yeah.
to her pretty much.
Yeah, I'm not missing this.
Yeah, I think as
Come on,
she
Brennan.
says that, he looks over to Ket and says, and just gives you the look of like, "What did you do?"
Because he knows.
I did the thing,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did a thing. Hey, did the sandwich unfreeze?
He was holding it, yeah. So
Okay.
yes, but he almost dropped it,
Okay.
and then gently put it back down on the plate while he's talking to you.
Are you going to finish that?
Yeah.
Would you like a sandwich, Ket?
I'm just curious to know if that sandwich is still any good.
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know,
pokes it.
man.
Seems good. I mean, I only made it just a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
Maybe.
About that.
Yeah, so everything is frozen, and you were just frozen again.
He kind
Not
of
in amber this
pats his
time.
arms and it's like, not in amber this time.
No.
No.
The whole world is, like, frozen right now.
I stopped time.
Yeah. And,
This seems to keep happening.
well, yeah, but it's different this time.
Well,
Like
I
the-
suppose it is. Where are my manners? I, of course, should always be prepared to have guests suddenly pop in to existence. Do you need refreshment? Are you rested? You all look good. Ket, except you. You really look terrible. I'm sorry to say, but it's. What happened
No,
to
no,
you?
it's okay. You know, stopping time and breaking the world and all that, it takes a lot out of a person, man.
Well, maybe next time you'll learn your lesson.
Ah,
Yes, maybe.
ha!
Probably
Oh.
not.
By the way, this is my friends Alaric, Nirakina, that's Otherkey and Amethyst over there.
Hello,
They
greetings.
they kind of follow us around.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Whatever
Yeah.
keeps you sleeping at night. Go ahead.
So whatever happened to your other friends, Voyager's Pride?
They never came back?
Well,
No, I guess they wouldn't have.
No,
See, we were trying to come back here, and we weren't able to for a very long time. And Ket and I, we were chasing down these leads about this strange, the caretaker,
Ah,
and we got separated in a beholder's lair, and Ket and I were frozen for a very long
we don't know
time.
how long. Yeah,
It could have been thousands of years for all we know.
yeah. We tried to come back home, but the tree, you know, the tree was not. There's something went wrong with the tree, so we were trying to fix it or find someone who could fix it. And
well,
surprise.
yes, I think I have picked up on some of this in the time since we last saw each other. You see, from here, you had gone off. You were adventuring for all we knew. But we continued as we had been. But we sensed that the tree was being interfered with. Like there was some force trying to cut it off from having a proper accent. No,
I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't
In
going
Irish.
to say.
some force was trying to prevent it from growing in the places that that it tried to reach. But then catastrophe. It was as if the entire world beneath us lurched and changed, and we were all running for the temple to try to see what could be done. And then the next thing we knew, we were all emerging from these shells, the tree too, and we're in this strange place. You know that, right? You've been
Yeah.
outside. This is not.
No.
We're in a different plane, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, we are. It is
Yeah, we're in the astral sea.
astral sea.
I knew it.
Someone moved the tree here because
would
it
be,
manipulated.
Quite an undertaking.
Yeah. They didn't think that people should just willy-nilly use the tree to go wherever they want all the time, and
What
that it needed
busybodies?
to be.
Like, what business is it of theirs?
Well, you know, people think that they get to be the boss of everyone all the time, and you know how it is.
I do.
They have no idea. And you know, the thing is that they probably don't even understand the tree at all. And they're just like, no one is using this tree anymore. So,
You know how it is that people fear what they don't understand.
yeah.
Yes. Well, just as we here in the city were trying to understand what had happened here to us, we were trying to clean up where the amber was left all over the place, and then all of you appear, and then you kissed each other finally. And then a giant construct appeared and you threw a crystal ball at it, and then you disappeared again, and the monster disappeared.
Yeah,
that's
the
the last we heard of
monster. The monster was one of the people that was trying to stop the tree from growing. Like they encased it in amber, and they put this thing. It was called the Marut. To guard it, to make sure that the tree couldn't grow or people couldn't use it.
I knew I didn't like the look of that thing.
Yeah, he was not a nice guy. He was terrible. Like, he was trying to get Archie for a really long time. Because Archie made the tree grow again, and Amethyst made the tree grow. She put so much energy into the tree to try to heal it so that it could start to grow again.
And at this point, he turns to, like, the two of you and just looks and goes and he just approaches slowly and then grabs both of you into a big, like, double-armed hug. Just says, "Thank you. The tree needed someone who understood it, and I was not able. I mean, it was not really my fault I was in the amber. But
No.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
nothing you could do, really.
right.
I hug back.
Bring
Big
it in,
hug
bring
back.
it in. We're
Yeah.
so happy.
Yeah.
We're a bunch of tree huggers right here. Happy.
Yeah, Amethyst actually used the tree, but she didn't even know it. Like, we were all, like, not even with her, and then one day she just showed up right in the middle of this room, and we were like, how did you get here? And she climbed the tree and used it.
Without even knowing?
Yes.
That's how I do most things.
Seems to work for you. So,
She had, like, no training. She didn't have to go through, like, years of you, like, smacking her with a branch. None of that.
He looks really perplexed, and he's, like, leaning in, and he comes in really close, Amethyst, and, like, he's doing, like, he's touching your forehead with his forehead, and he's got his hands, like, on your cheeks, and he's just really serious, like, looking right into your eyes. No!
What?
What do your monk eyes see?
Do you know
I
Amethyst?
don't... I think I do. But
Well,
I've never
wouldn't you
seen... you like this?
What did she look like before? Was she a dragon?
Ha!
Was she a cat?
You don't know?
No, I don't have parts of my memory. Basically anything more than however much time has passed since I started with this crew.
Well, I suppose I can understand the separation must have been traumatic.
What?
Separation?
You're the spirit of the tree.
Say
Amethyst,
what now?
heart the tree. I knew that's why I loved you.
You've taken mortal form, obviously. But I can see you in there.
There's got to be a mistake. I am like flattered epically, but I just can't. I feel like that's something I should know.
I'm gonna touch Amethyst. Does she feel like the tree?
You're just like,
When I'm touching her, do I feel like the
I'm
tree?
just imagining you like
Where
you
are
just
you
put your
touching?
hand on her face. It's just like,
I'm like touching her. I'm like touching her butt. No, I'm just like touching her face, like the side of her face. Like
I'm
just
touching
kinda
her butt.
cheek.
No one asks for consent.
Talk to me, tree.
I mean,
sh-
it doesn't feel like feeling like the physical tree does.
No,
And
but
you
like, do I feel
know
like
Amethyst, like, but there is something there.
I don't know, Amethyst. You
What?
feel like the tree to me. But I mean, I don't know. I thought that Nira's grandmother was her mother, so I could be wrong.
Well,
I mean, that
I-
doesn't really disprove what you're saying, though, because you were kind of right.
I
Well,
forgive if I've overstepped, but
No, it's information is good. It's just really surprising.
the spirit of the Emirate Arboris, Cadence knows this, is typically not very responsive to mortal creatures. Expresses through the allowance of travel through the branches rather than verbally in words or other deeds, but I had sensed within the tree a sort of dormant quality, and I wondered if perhaps the spirit was just at rest, like so much of the rest of the city frozen in amber. But I wonder if it's... Did you just take mortal form?
Maybe they separated her before they
Oh, maybe.
before they removed everything here and encased it in amber. They separated her and erased her memory and just threw her out into the world. But see, here's the thing, and I tell him about the dragon
Okay.
and about how we gave our memories and all this stuff, and about how the dragon knew her, and how the weird, creepy spirit that ate everybody knew her, but nobody would tell her who she was.
Well, this is makes me feel awkward. I did not realize I was revealing something so hidden.
Well, it's about time somebody did. I'm really starting to wonder.
But
I
that's
think we had a
good.
betting pool at one point, but I can't remember what we were betting on.
I wanted her to be a dragon, like, so bad, because there was this little dragon here that like lived in the amber and like traveled through the amber. Did you see anything like that after everybody started to come awake? There's a little guy, his name was Arius.
Oh, yes, Arius. He's not a little amber dragon anymore. I don't know. I don't know where he is right now.
But what is he if he's not a dragon?
Yeah.
We were big during him.
He I cannot pretend to understand every aspect of his nature, but he had taken on the amber form of the tree in the city in its protected state. But now that the amber has flicked away, the tree is regrowing. He is a tree dragon now.
Cool.
Tree dragon? Oh, man.
I have one question. If Amethyst is the spirit of the tree, does that mean they have to be reunited for the tree to be fully awake again?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. In all of my personal experience with the the tree, the great Emerald Arboris, it had never actually done this before.
This is crazy. Crazy good.
How about you, Amethyst? How do you feel? Do you feel like the tree?
So I'm gonna do a nature check on myself because I don't know. We'll see what the dice says. 32.
You're a tree.
I
Congratulations,
mean,
it's free.
you look at your hands; they look like human hands, right?
Right.
Like it's not like, oh, actually, I had branches all along. But I mean,
It's 3 trees in a robe.
I think I think so. Like in that sense, like a nature check is almost kind of the wrong like way to
Okay.
think about it. But I think what you recognize is that you have always had an intuitive understanding of natural energies and magic around you, and you've definitely felt a connection to this tree. You were able to commune with it when it seems to be entirely dormant. And there's a connection there, and you're not sure if what he says is actually right,
Mm-hmm.
but there's something there.
So I share my little understanding.
I wonder if. No, never mind.
Wait,
Does
does
that
this
mean
mean we
y'all
can use
climb
amethyst to travel?
I know.
Amethyst, let me climb on your back.
It's apparently he's done it before.
Cadence knows how much training the Spanic Scotus have to go through to travel on the Emerald Arboris. The idea that someone entirely untrained would travel from one plane to another without even realizing it. Let me just say, very unlikely.
And I mean, it does kind of make. I mean, if creatures recognize something in you, I mean, it stands to reason that it makes sense.
Mm.
Maybe it's not. Maybe there's another way to look at this too. If you remember Lake Elamond, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
a thing, but it wasn't one thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole lot of things all combined together. And what if Amethyst isn't a part of the tree in the way that this is my arm, but a part of the tree in the way that she's a part of this group? You know, essential to making the group a whole, but still an individual, still one person with their own path and destiny.
Well, I mean,
I can't imagine that Amethyst would find too many other places she'd like to stay for most of eternity anyway, but
Me.
I don't think that she has to necessarily. Not all the time.
Well, the ways of powerful spirits are often counterintuitive for mortal creatures, such as we. And the idea that a spirit would take mortal form is something that there are stories, but it is unusual. But as we can all see,
I mean,
the
we've
tree
seen
itself
gods.
remains.
We've seen gods take mortal form before, right?
Yes. So, my point is that it could be an aspect of the tree, or more, or I don't entirely know.
Cool. I'm into it.
Maybe we
But-
should go. Maybe we should go see the tree.
we did when we got here. Amethyst and I went and touched it.
Yeah, but that was just a branch, right?
No, the tree. We were like where the tree.
Oh, okay.
That
okay, right,
temple is kind of
Right.
like, that chamber is like at the base of the tree, so like there's
Right.
part of the trunk that sort of extends into the room there.
I mean, this whole place is the tree.
Amethyst is the tree. Whoa.
Aww.
But the thing is, as I was just saying before, we knew the tree had something interfering with it, and then of course something brought us all here. The tree was in trouble, and so even though I've never heard of it taking mortal form before, maybe the circumstances made it necessary.
I wonder how we would test that out.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's something you can test out. It's something that you just,
I think you're the only one who can truly know anyway.
yeah. I mean, how do you feel? I mean, do you feel that this is right?
I feel like there's something there. I don't know that that's what it is, but I do feel insanely connected to this tree.
Well, with the evidence before me, I think I'm content to believe it for the moment. And from this point forward, I think I'm going to call you Amethyst Arboreus.
And
Kind of cute.
I just kind of, I kind of walk over and I just kind of, is it okay if I hug you?
Of course.
I give Amethyst a hug.
Aw, I hug back.
I love you. I love you, tree.
I love you, cat.
Amethyst Arboreus. It's kind of a change in color scheme.
Wow.
I think we've gotten a lot of useful information here.
Yeah. I'm glad that you are here. But the thing is, when we leave, you will have to go back to being frozen. Until we figure out what we have to do.
You're going to want to eat that sandwich pretty quick.
Yeah, I think you should eat your sandwich.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, did you want sandwiches? I offered you refreshment, but then we got into the whole thing, and so have you talked to your family yet? I mean, everyone's outside.
Not yet.
I don't. I don't want to talk to my family just yet.
I want to see them.
We can
I
see
didn't-
them, but I don't want to talk to them.
So that obviously is your decision. But I do have a question for you. I obviously all of you are involved in some really incredible things, and you seem to know things about what's happening that are far beyond what I understand.
We're getting there.
But would you, by any chance, know how to get our city out of the astral sea and back to the material plane where it belongs?
We're working.
We're
on it.
working on it. We don't know just yet, but we are working
Okay,
on it.
that's
on the
great.
list.
I just wanted to mention it, in case, like I didn't want
I
to,
would- I would very
We
much.
agree
I would
this is
very
not
much.
normal.
Yes, I would very much like to see the city restored to its, former glory.
Yeah, I mean, the astral sea, has its charms. We can kind of float around and stuff, but, it's not the same.
I know.
Give Cat a few days to rest up, and I'm sure he can take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we can do for you before we
Burn.
leave and you are kind of frozen again?
Well, I mean, I didn't remember being frozen before, so I suppose I won't remember this time, but,
Would you like to
guess,
finish your sandwich, perhaps?
well, I certainly would like to eat my sandwich, but as a priority thing, I would ask just don't leave us frozen. Come back and
Of course
unfreeze
we
us
will.
Absolutely.
if you can.
When it's safe.
Going to make this right for everybody.
Well, I think you will. But you, Cadence. Cadence, come here.
I walk over.
he has like an insignia that is, his sort of like emblem of being like the head of the Hispanix Codes. And he says, "It is clear to me that you have surpassed me in all of the ways that this matters. And I could not be more proud." And he goes to like take it off as a necklace and put it over your head.
I just reach up and I grab it. And I hold it in my hand.
Yeah, be careful with the little beads there. They're very, they won't, maybe you'll have something over it so it doesn't get,
Mm-hmm.
it's just delicate.
I'll take very good care of it.
I
I promise. And I only got through all of this because of you. Everything you taught me. We'll make this right. And we'll be back. Hopefully in our own city.
Yes. So, you've all been so kindly offering, so I think I will. And he goes to take a big bite of his sandwich.
And
Walk away!
We
And
let him eat his sandwich, and then we just
You all just stand there staring at him while he eats his sandwich?
No.
Yeah, like I feel like after the second bite or so, he starts kind of going, "This is a little awkward now."
I'm going to turn away just to I'm examining the brickwork professionally.
Yeah, I'm gonna go wonder.
I'm gonna stay. I want to make sure he doesn't get frozen with food in his throat.
Right?
Yeah, that'd be a terrible way to
I
come
want to
back.
make sure he swallows it all.
Spends eternity trying to clear his throat, or
That's
however
right.
long he's frozen.
Hairball midair.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple of times where, like in between bites, he's just kind of like, "I'm not keeping you, am I? I mean, I know time seems to be frozen for you, but I would hate to be delaying things."
no.
Take your time.
We're
We've
just
got all the time in the world.
honestly.
I mean,
I'm
this
just
is a good
enjoying.
sandwich, but I don't know if it's more important than saving the universe.
I'm just enjoying being in your presence for the time being.
So I have a question, guys.
yeah.
I know that there's things that Ket and Cadence want to see to in the city.
Mhm.
And Alaric and I have business elsewhere that you are not necessarily required to be there for if you would rather stay for a while.
Cadence.
Um,
I mean,
guess.
I don't. I mean, I want to see things, but I don't. I really don't want to disturb anything. You know.
yeah.
I kind of don't want. I don't want to talk to my family until we make this right. I don't want to have to.
Explain everything.
I don't want to have to unfreeze them, only to have to say goodbye and freeze them again.
Any other secrets to glean? Probably not.
No.
I don't have anywhere to be.
We're eventually heading towards where you got to be.
Heck, my family are just.
I mean, I don't even have a family, man.
Stupid dads.
Oh, I'm happy to be wherever we need to be.
I mean, I can stay. I'm happy to just stay and like wander around for a little bit. You know,
Amethyst, do you want to stay here with us and visit yourself? I mean, the tree?
I can go commune with the tree.
commune with
Yeah.
yourself.
I'm happy to do that.
Not like that.
There's some private rooms in the temple just for lunch.
I'm still
I'm happy
learning.
to-
I'm still learning these, nature ways. So I'm happy to invest more time in that.
Yeah, Archie built a good bond with the tree, too.
That is true.
So we
If-
could stay here.
If Starlin, Alaric want to go on their own, then I'm absolutely happy to stay here. I mean, if they need some alone time, I get it.
Ugh,
We could be like fourth,
like
third
that.
wheels. I don't
Yeah,
know how
I mean,
math is on that. I mean, I wasn't meaning it that way, but since you're rolling your eyes, I just gotta play it up, Nira. Come on.
Yeah, you did this one to yourself.
This is the consequences of your weird love.
My preference is always for us to remain together. Things get real hairy when we're separate and trying to get back together. So that's my
I'm feeling
preference.
pretty good about
But-
the whole state of the universe pause.
Shadow of a Star is just listening to all this. It's just-
like watching a soap opera.
Century.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind staying behind. If Nira and Alaric want to go and take care of what they need to take care of, then
I mean, you are welcome to come with. I just
no, absolutely, yeah, no. I mean, I
there's no
don't,
rush.
I don't honestly see any present danger in splitting the party right now.
Yeah.
I mean, with everything on hold and everything
Sounds
paused. I mean, don't Alaric, for the love of all that is holy, listen to Nira.
Like
Yeah.
any of us ever
Pretty
have a
layered
choice?
Yeah, if a weird hole appears in the middle of your house and Nira's like, don't go in that hole, you listen to her.
Don't
Stay
go
out
in
of
the
the
hole.
hole.
Better yet, ask her if you should jump into that hole before you do. That's
Are
really
you
the big
kidding?
one.
You know what she's going to
The
say.
bigger
She's
lesson.
gonna say no.
Right.
That's why you
No,
listen
I
to her.
really don't.
Yeah, this is like my rule with my dog, where it's kind of like I tell him, okay, here's the rule: if we're outside and it's on the ground and you want to eat it, don't eat it. That's the rule.
How's that work out for you?
Yeah, we're working on it.
So, are you saying I should just like carry a squirt bottle with me at all times now?
Maybe.
Like,
With like a little clicker.
No, you need
A training clicker.
positive reinforcement.
Yeah.
Find out what
Yeah, you don't want to
motivates him.
shoot the dog while it's pooping.
Carry some treats with you.
Or I guess eating, whatever it was doing. I don't know.
Carry like a little cask of ale, and when he does
He
good
likes
stuff,
mushrooms.
give him a drink.
For sure.
I mean, I do like mushrooms, but I feel a little bit objectified here.
No. Alaric, we speak out of love. We just don't want anything to happen to you guys while we're split up, you know?
The
The
only
odds are
concern,
there's a
the
hole
only
you're going to jump
concern I
into.
have is just that we can get back together again.
Absolutely.
I know that
Same.
Amethyst and I know that Nirakina can both do the shifting.
Yeah. Who has what now? I've gotten a little confused with this.
I believe I have the tuning forks
situation.
Yes.
because I should have all of them because Amethyst was not with us for so long.
Yeah.
And Amethyst is back.
But Amethyst can plane shift, so she doesn't need
So
to.
Well, you know, you do.
Well,
Well, I
you
do
need
need
that
the
to do
tuning
that.
forks.
The,
That's
yeah,
what
the
I
tuning
need
forks
to
are a
do it
necessary
for.
part of the spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yes.
But I
Oh.
mean,
and
if
we only
Nira-
have one for the
Wait a minute.
material plane.
Isn't there a hole right here?
I
There
thought
was a
all
hole
those
in the
were
dragon's
closed.
den where the tree had poked through. Could we go through that?
We can certainly try.
Well, yeah, but
Is
then
that-
we'd end up in the desert.
Yeah, you're going to your house.
Yeah,
It's
not
a
the
lot,
dragon's
it's a lot
way.
easier to travel across the land than it is between planes.
It would take a lot
Okay.
longer, though. It would take a
Yeah,
lot
that
longer.
seems unnecessary.
And then you'd be facing. We still don't know the state of it. Like we know time is frozen and people are frozen and things like that. But there could
But
be
there's one other person that likely is not frozen.
exactly.
Right.
So
Speaking of which,
I-
before you go to Alaric's family's house, maybe you could try to cast Sending to Melicant and see if she answers or scry on her or something.
And Zora.
Well,
why
I
Sure
not
just
thing,
both?
happen to
yeah.
have this crystal ball here in
Yeah,
the bag
I
now.
think that's really
That's a
good.
idea. That's a
And
good
I
idea.
think I don't know if there is any kind of blacksmithery, a smithy here, or if you can perhaps summon the mansion. But
smithies? Sorry.
There's probably
But
blacksmithing places here. I don't
I
think that
could
she knows.
make. I would feel more comfortable if I could make more tuning forks, and we could make more of them,
Right.
and even if we make some duplicates, just because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could do that while they're doing their business. We could go find the smithy, and you could
Smith it up.
smith it up. Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, things are frozen, but I mean,
You could use them
Yeah.
anyway.
you can
So
still
you
use
need-
them. I mean, the
it's-
people are frozen.
I mean, you'll
Creatures
have
are
to figure
frozen.
out how the fire works because it's frozen too.
Oh,
Yeah,
I-
but the-
fire's my
that's-
specialty.
That's right. Yeah.
I kind of feel like every time we talk about travel, it's always a hairy mess that doesn't end well. So I'm again going to reiterate that I'm not sure we should separate,
I mean, up to
There's-
at least until we have more
Yeah.
tuning forks. And we have like a destination where we'll meet up and how that's going to happen when
We're
it gets
gonna be
haywire.
we're gonna be right here.
I thought they were gonna plane shift back here when they're done.
That's what I thought.
Well, it actually would be easier if you all met me at the house. I can take us directly to the caves.
Okay.
Okay, but we. Okay,
So do we?
Sure.
but then we would have to make another tuning fork, right?
No, we have one for the material plane.
Yeah,
What
but
about-
I'll have to use it to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nira will have
So-
to use it to get there.
How long would it take Archie to make a tuning fork?
To make the tuning fork is one thing. To attune it to the plane that we want to travel
However-
to, that's
however,
the other part.
So I think
It's
we
a
all
part
need
deal.
We have a space, a hole in the universe is over there where you can pop through to the material plane and tune the fork.
Yeah, well, you guys also have lots of stuff from the material plane.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That's right.
That would be like
You don't
of
have to
all the
actually
different
be
planes
there.
where you would want to make the
Right.
tuning
Yeah.
fork. That's the one that's easy because you guys are from the material plane.
Objects
Yeah.
that are already
Yeah.
attuned to it. Yeah.
250 gold value.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, that wouldn't be a
Yeah.
problem. You guys do your business. We'll fork it up.
And then we'll come to your family's house.
Yeah. I mean, how long do you need? Do you think? A day?
I don't know that we'll need that long. I'm just going there for some information that I didn't get last time.
Okay, so how about we do this? Because I still need to rest.
Mm.
So you guys go there. I'm not sure what the time zones are, but we will,
There aren't any right now, you realize.
Time zone is stopped.
that's true. Well, but the sun still rises and sets, you know?
No,
Does
it
it?
doesn't.
Yes. No, it does not.
No,
I don't think it does.
It does?
nothing changes.
Okay,
With-
well,
And with the
There
keen mind
is a
feat that I have,
sunset and a sunrise in places.
yes. So we'll
It's
just...
more like the Fey realm now. We can travel to get to the different sunrises and sunsets.
Okay, so you guys go. We'll make a fork. I'm gonna get the rest,
Mm-hmm.
and then when we're rested for at least a few hours,
Yeah.
then we'll come find you.
Do some work. Commune with the tree.
Yeah.
yeah, I think we should also make a check while we're at the estate to make sure there's no other sign of assassin involvement.
Mhm.
Even just whatever state the
Hmm.
Marut left the place in. Hopefully
Yeah.
it didn't damage anything on its way through.
Sure.
Well, it
And
follows
you
through
can
to the,
you can scry on us if you want to
yeah.
check in on
True.
how we're
You
doing.
can cast sending if something happens.
Yes.
But before you do that, try to cast sending to Melican
Or scratch.
before you go, or scry on her.
Well, if she's frozen, sending's not going to do any good.
So
Right.
scratch. Yeah.
That's what I said. So scry.
Yeah, we know. We know.
Yeah.
We'd still like to try.
Sure. But if she has a key,
Okay.
then maybe she'll be
Well, if you scry, you'll know.
active.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to use this crystal ball here.
Right.
And yeah.
All right. So you begin your scrying ritual with the crystal ball, concentrating on it, focusing on it, staring into its, cloudy, wobbly depths. As you look for the secrets that you seek within, and there's a moment where you feel yourself whisked away into this vision, and there's a moment where you're confused because it's very much like the last time you scryed. Going to the material plane, seeing Mount Rashama, going deep beneath, through the tunnels, into this enormous cavern where this enormous ritual is being held. And there, on the outskirts of this cavern, you see a party of adventurers, including an elven wizard in yellow robes. Look of desperation on her face as she holds aloft a crystal sphere.
Oh,
That answers that
moly.
question.
What about your friend
Huh.
who traveled with you before? That there's a statue of him at Alaric's house.
Mugen?
Jane?
Yeah,
Mhm.
what about Mugen?
Again.
That makes
Well,
perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, I can't use this again until tomorrow. And if I want to cast Scrying again, it's going to cost us another one of those pretty gems.
Oh, by the way, the scrying spell does not consume the focus, I don't think. You need
doesn't?
To you need to have it, but I don't think it does consume it. If it doesn't say which the spell consumes, you just have to have it. You don't lose it.
Like the tuning forks.
Yeah.
That would be really convenient.
Yeah. So, yeah, material component is a focus with at least 1,000 GP, such as crystal ball, silver mirror, or a font filled with holy water, but it does not say that it is consumed, which means that it is not.
All right. So I've still got that whatever that I was using last time. I mean, I can try to scry on him, see what happens.
Yes.
Okay, please.
I don't know, he's kind of tricky, so...
Yeah.
You won't know unless you try. I mean, we gotta try things. We don't know what's going on.
All right.
Truth.
So we'll go ahead and scry on Mugen.
All right. You feel like you don't know where this vision is taking you. Like, it seems like there's an energy to it that you're not is not familiar to you. But you find yourself emerging into some astonishingly lush, verdant green hills beneath an impressively blue sky, puffy white clouds, and then impressive, majestic mountains in the backdrop as you zoom in to just a perfect, picturesque little hilltop with an apple tree sitting on top, and leaning against the tree at the base of it, just calmly munching on an apple, is Mugen. He is moving as you watch him munching on the apple.
Maybe we're lucky and he has the key.
I mean,
Maybe
I
you
would,
could cast sending to him right now
I would
and
be
ask him.
looking behind most of this.
Let's see. Third level.
I'm just so excited that we're even talking about
so
Mugen again.
there's a 5% chance the message won't arrive. So I'll give it a shot and see what happens.
95% chance that it will.
Okay, so
Just do it 20 times. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
okay. So I will cast sending to send Mugen a message, and I will ask. So, should I assume you also have a key, or is there something else going on with you?
Alright. Give me a minute. I have to... I think well, okay, first of all, let me roll. So the message, you do feel the message go through, and you hear back, it's like, well, you have certainly gotten us all into some kind of predicament. Can't say I entirely dislike it. I'll catch up with you guys soon.
That's not an answer.
Sounds about right.
Well, he's up and moving, but he didn't answer me about the key, so.
I think the fact that he's up and moving is like a good answer, though.
How did he look? How's he been eating?
Yeah, I think
how
that's
does his
pretty
coat look? Does he
clear.
look like he's okay? Like,
Well, he was in the process of eating some fruit, so I think he's probably doing all right.
okay.
Like, the place he looked is like the platonic ideal of like a gorgeous little sunny hilltop to sit against an apple tree and goof off. It's like it's you know, if you imagine having the perfect version of that, that's what it looks like.
Nice.
What do you think they meant by "see us soon"?
Yeah. Hard to know with Mugen. And, I mean, time is frozen right now, so soon is relative, isn't it?
Relative to us.
It's
Yeah.
so exciting, though.
Interesting. Very interesting. Encouraging, even.
It's fantastic news.
You know, I wouldn't have put it past Mugen to have figured out all this a long time ago,
Yeah.
or have been in on it on the beginning.
I think if Mugen does
Yeah.
have a key, I don't think we're going to see him until all of this is over.
Yeah.
It would be just like him to show up for the final act
Yeah.
to make the curtain call.
Yeah. He has to have one, though. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense right now. But at least I think that's a good assumption we can make. Whether he kickstarts things without us, well,
So Mela can't
yeah.
get moved forward too then, just like...
Just from a body language standpoint, he didn't look like he was in a hurry to accomplish much of anything
Yeah.
in your describing.
Okay. So now we kind of at least know that. So you guys, we want to do that. We will come to you then tomorrow.
Well, as soon as you guys want to pop in, you know.
It's not like we can tell when that is anyway.
Yeah.
So, okay, so should we just wait for you, or is there... It's difficult to say, like, oh, well, you know, give us, like, 4 hours. Like, what?
I mean,
It doesn't mean anything now.
Cat needs to like sleep like a good night's sleep.
Cat
So
needs days of good night's sleeps.
yeah, but I mean, you can only take one of those at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
you know, look in on us. If we're still here, come on back.
Or just assume that we will come to you.
You can always send a message, right?
No, we can't. Only Nira
I
can.
can.
But
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can send
Yeah,
a message. Yeah.
Did you want to leave him with some of that paper?
It won't work between the Astral Sea and the...
But if there's a tear, they could...
Well, right, but it'll still have to fly that distance,
it'll
which
take
is...
quite a while.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all... That desert is all the way on the other side of the southern mountains.
I'd say.
I mean, it would be better than nothing. But...
I'd say maybe if you could, maybe once every like 4 hours, give a scry or give a
Send a message.
Send a message, if you can, just to check in, just to make sure, we don't want to be too out of contact for too long.
Or like if something horrible happens and Amethyst's worst dreams come true.
If
Hello?
something happens and there is an immediate need, well, I mean, more than likely, we'd just come back here.
Okay.
That works.
So,
We'll stay here unless something runs us off.
Yeah, man.
well, I guess I'll We'll see you guys in a few hours.
All right.
Hey, Nira, Alaric, just in case, I just want you to know that I love you.
Are you going to hit me again?
I hit you out of love, Alaric.
I
Always
mean, I
out of
barely
love.
felt it. You're not exactly in your best shape right now.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. That's why I did it. I would never hit you if I was at full strength. I'd knock you down. Yeah.
I mean, I might not notice that either, but
Just be safe, okay?
yeah. I'm
I
going home.
appreciate the
There's no
sentiment.
danger there at the moment.
All right.
You guys stay safe too.
And go see your family.
I'll see them. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll look at them.
We'll look at them from a distance.
That's just creepy.
You're gonna go do the same thing.
I'm probably going to say hi at least.
All right. Okay.
Okay. So I'm just gonna grab hold of Alaric and poof, we're off.
Poof. Bye.
All right.
All right.
Both of you, as you are plane shifting away, make a perception check for me.
Did that tempo look like it was exploding?
We've been playing for nearly 2 hours, and these are our first rolls of the game.
28.
Damn it, 27.
It's nothing like really specific, but there's just a little bit, almost like a burst of static as you are plane shifting through that is not what you're used to, but it's very subtle. It's just a little bit like sometimes when, so you know how sometimes when you're making a phone call, you guys in the fantasy universe, no, it's more just like there's just a little bit of sort of a strange little burst of indecipherable noise as you shift through that is not what you're used to having happen. But otherwise, the spell does not malfunction in any way, and you find yourself. Where were you aiming yourself for this plane shift?
I was thinking specifically of the hall in the Copper Buried Estate where we were before with where his father's body had been placed and we fought the thing and stuff.
All right.
The thing and stuff.
So, we're not going to follow you right now. We're going to stay here with everybody else. Everyone who's standing there can make their own perception check.
Oops.
Hey, I did well this time.
26.
What's my negative? My negative one. 17. I mean, it's not 26. But
8.
8.
Oh, wait. It depends if it's against us. Oh, no, I think it's cool. Yeah. 8.
Yeah, so Cadence, you're not as used to watching this spell from the outside, right? Usually, this particular variation of planar travel, you're used to being in the spell when it happens. But you do notice that there's just a little bit of a strange, burst of noise that is not how it usually happens.
Is that normal, you guys? You didn't? Never mind.
I rolled an 8. Looks fine to me.
Sure enough, they did just disappear.
I mean, sure. I mean, we won't. Even if not, there's nothing we can do about it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Her hands are tied.
True.
Let's go find the.
I
Let's
just
go find the forge.
I just suddenly
Yeah.
envisioned that the plane shift spell sounded like a slide whistle.
All I see is sideshow Bob.
All right, so
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you're. So I think.
Yeah, we want to find a forge.
Yeah, unless
Yeah.
you guys really did something else. Basically, Shadow of a Star just spent all of that conversation just eating his sandwich. You know,
Yep.
like you made it clear that you were giving him the opportunity to finish his sandwich, and he was going to take you
Absolutely.
up on that.
At least
Did he make
we
another
do.
sandwich because we talked so long? Eat some pickles.
Pickles.
I will say goodbye to him before we leave. I'll just tell him that, I'll remind him that we're gonna fix this, and then we'll just walk away and start looking for the forge, which I'm not sure if Ket and I would know where to find it because the city was moved or not.
Oh, well, I mean, I think you guys still do, because, like, the whole city is moved, so you still know
Okay.
the layout of the city, although it's been a while.
Mhm.
I think just as you're saying goodbye to Shadow of a Star, though, he does, like, you're saying you'll promise to, like, help the city, and he does just say, and of course, take care of yourselves, too.
We will. And each other.
And he kind of grins at that, and you see one of his, like, little fangs, and he kind of just pokes your arm.
Yeah. All things in good time.
All right. So yeah, if you guys, are heading out, Amethyst, are you providing a conveyance for Ket again?
Of course.
So Amethyst, as you guys head outside, and you get sort of once again sort of the outside view of the entire tree as it just sort of towers over the city, hundreds of feet up in the air. Like, you look at the tree and you still feel this connection, but like, it doesn't feel like you don't look at it and have this like looking in a mirror reaction. Like, you don't feel like, oh, that's me. That thought still doesn't make any sense in your brain.
Mhm.
But like, I mean, I don't want to tell Amethyst how she feels about the tree, but I guess what I'm just saying is like the feeling of connection you've had to it. Like, that connection is still there, however you're feeling about it. But yeah, like it's strange though, because it does, it's a tree. Is that who you are? That seems like a strange question. So I'm not telling you how to feel about that, but I would imagine that there's a sort of an uncanny sense about it.
Checks out.
So all of you are, just strolling through the city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of keeping a wide berth for getting too close to anybody else, because I know he said that people were outside in the streets. So.
Yeah, that's a good
Good
point.
social distancing, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, for Ket and Cadence, the city looks very much like what you remember. Like, there's it's been a while since you've been here, and you have the sense that maybe there was some time that passed, but mostly it looks just like what you would remember, except frozen in time. But for everyone else, it is a transformative thing, because now, instead of everything covered in amber and becoming this like monochromatic, strange, like honey-colored cityscape, now all of the buildings have like these vibrant color like paints and murals on them. You see all of the people, which is, tabaxi and humans and all sorts of different races, all just, dressed in like, fabulous outfits. And when you look up at the tree, like, the tree is not an amber anymore. It's, this enormous, the brown bark, and you see leaves above, and it is a tree now. And the only thing that makes it still a little disorienting is that, you know, beyond the tree, the sky is the endless gray mists of the astral sea. So, like, there's moments where you could almost just mistake it for being an overcast day, but, you know, you've spent too much time in the astral sea to not recognize it. Also, there's the fact that you still have all of the things like you can float around and you're not hungry or tired in the normal way, you know.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it could rain at any minute, but
But there's definitely, you know, all sorts of people around who many of them seem to be spending their time cleaning up, you know, bits of amber. Because it does seem like the amber did not just disappear. It's like, you know, it flaked off of everything and has been, like, piled up. And, like, it's like people shoveling snow after a blizzard. You know, like there's big piles of it in some places, and you know it's been cleared away in some places, and other places it's still flaked all over the ground and so on.
Strangely, it still feels like home though.
kinda, yeah.
I think there is a general sense though that like a lot of the people are certainly like they're going about like business, but I think there's a general sort of demeanor though of like, this is weird, what's going on? Like, you know, this is, you know, the last they knew there was a big catastrophe happening, and now they've woken up and they realized they've had amber all over them for who knows how long, and now they're in the astral sea. What's happening? Well, can it be fixed? They don't know. So, you know, they're doing stuff. They're out and about and doing things. They're making do, but they're confused and uncertain.
Do we see anybody that we know?
Gonna go ahead and make an investigation check for me?
I suck at investigation.
Well, how about this? I will flip this on you and say, you tell me, do you see anyone you know? You're just wandering to, like, a blacksmith, you know? Right? Would you know anybody that might be in that area?
Probably not.
I mean, I see.
I mean, you guys could go to places that you would expect to find people you know.
I see faces that I recognize, but not like anybody that I was, you know, close to. I recognize the faces, but I don't, you know, I'm not like, oh, hey, I gotta talk to this guy. You know, I'm just like, oh, I remember that face. I remember this person. You know,
Ooh,
there's a familiarity there to it.
Look at that guy, like, stumbling out of the tavern. Remember that guy? He was always stumbling out of the tavern. Look, some things never change.
That's because he's a drunk.
Yeah, I think sure enough, there's, you know, someone who's like literally like frozen in a position that you could not make yourself stand. Like he's in the process of falling over.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, well, we'll go and do that. And get the forges like over here.
Yeah. So I think Archie, what you find is like, you know, the tools in Forge are not 100% familiar design, but the principle is straightforward enough that you can certainly work it out. And the Forge is cold to start with, though, so you do you know, need to like build the fire and stoke it and everything. But as you sort of engage with the fuel and the tools and everything sort of warms up and starts behaving as you would expect it to. But, you know, it does take a little while to, you know, get the forge hot enough to work with the platinum that or whatever metal you're using.
Yeah. I'm just starting to go through the bag right now and like
cast fireball.
What do we got here? What do we got here? So sorting everything out, figure out how many I'm gonna make.
Yeah, so what you need obviously is decide what metal you're using, and then just choose what sort of object you want to have as be part of the the attunement. Like, it doesn't use up that object or anything. It's
Right.
not important, just for flavor. Just thinking about what it is that you associate strongly with the material plane that you think would be useful for as an attunement anchor.
How many can you make, Archie?
Well, let's see. We've still got a couple platinum bars in here, but I mean, we had set one aside for Mugen. We can make 2 out of it, though.
Well, 2 of the
Wait,
ones
wait.
that Nira have were made from my platinum bar, so I
Yeah.
can't offer any money that I have because I've already put it all
Yeah.
in. But if there's anything else of mine that's in there that can be used,
There's another platinum bar that was, I think, was Alarix. Then we've got a bunch of gold coins that we've come across, so I think I'm just gonna melt these down. We all agree this is important.
it's
I'm
transportation.
gonna make an
We
executive
need it.
decision. I mean, with what we have here, I could easily make 4.
Okay.
I mean, how
What do
many
you-
are? Well, I guess you can make the tuning fork
I mean,
without doing the attunement part,
Right.
Right.
just to have the forks.
Yeah.
But it says, that the forks would be made of gold worth 250.
Well, or it can be any pure metal, but 250 gold worth.
Worth, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's why I was saying, we could use the platinum bars or we could use gold. We don't really have.
Which just
Oh,
actually.
well, hey, we got we've got some plate mail armor still.
I'm actually just amused thinking about how, because it's a price, not a like a weight, that means that in theory, if you made a platinum fork, it would be smaller than
Yeah.
the gold fork would have to be 10 times bigger than the
Yeah.
the
Yeah, I
platinum
guess
fork.
steel probably
By
is,
volume.
Steel would
is
be
the way to
like a
go.
car.
Yeah. Well, I mean, full plate armor, if you melt that down, that's 5 keys.
Well, steel's not a pure metal though.
6 keys. Oh, that's true. That's right. Yeah.
It's an alloy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I will let you executive decide the platinum versus gold.
Yeah, this gold's just going. I mean, we never spend it anyways.
Yeah.
Cue
So I'm gonna
next
make
session where I'm
4.
going to start charging you for everything.
No.
I think the last time we spent money was when we bought my pig.
The heroes of legend will have to start charging for everything too.
You wake up the elven generals and just kind of say, okay, so we're going to stop your war for you, but first we're going to need you to sign a few things.
Right.
Cross my palm with silver.
Yeah, I'll make 4
All right.
out of gold. Smelt down the gold coins.
Okay.
You do that. It takes a little while.
yeah.
While he's working on that, what are the rest of you doing?
I don't want to wander too far away from Archie and Amethyst, so
I have to
I'm just kind of
imagine.
leaving.
So, I mean, tell me how it feels for you guys being here, because on the one hand, the first time that you got to see your city again after so long, it was this strange, uncanny feeling where everything was frozen but also covered in amber. Now it's not covered with amber, and you know what's kind of going on, but it's still, everything's frozen. Like, I've got to imagine there's some complicated things happening emotionally there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as I just kind of sit on the I don't know, a stoop or something like that, I just kind of sit on a stoop and look around. And yeah, there's some complicated feelings, but it feels a little more, I don't know.
It's like we're closer to where we were trying to get to, but we're still not quite there.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like there was an impending sense of doom with the whole Amber thing. And now it doesn't feel that way anymore. I mean, I know there's still danger to be faced and everything like that, but it feels that we've accomplished something. You know? So there's a bit of relief there, but
You
there's
guys have
also
some control that you didn't before.
yeah, and there's also some like anticipation of what's to come, and almost like not like a sense of urgency, but like, oh, I can't wait until, you know, everything is unfroze, everything is back to normal,
Yeah.
like so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just the hesitation you feel in terms of going to talk to your family.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I actually, I like turn to Kat and I just say, you know, I know you don't want to see them, but what if when all of this is said and done and put back where they're supposed to be, what if we're not there because it's in the past and you don't get the chance to see them again?
I think that's something that I'm willing to risk right now.
You don't even want to look at them?
Oh, I'd be more than willing to go look, but I don't want to talk to them. I just don't think that's right.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but I just that's just the way. That's just something in my gut is telling me that that's the way it has to be right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, sorry, I can't remember. Did you get your memories back?
Yes.
You did. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, it was
What-
only yeah, Nira
Right.
didn't, and
Okay. I mean, do you want to go talk to your family?
I don't know. I mean, the whole reason that we started trying to come home in the first place was because I felt like I owed it to my mother. That I had been gone long enough. I proved my point. And I wanted to come home and see her again. And then we couldn't. So, I mean, yeah, I want to at least look at her.
I mean, we
Especially
can.
now that I remember her.
I mean, we can go look, but in a way, I mean, what point have you proven?
Well, I mean, you know, she didn't really want me to do this. She didn't want me to go.
I
She was
know. I remember.
she was so unhappy with my decision, even though she knew that that was what I was training for. That was what my father set me up for, and she knew that. But then he was gone, and she didn't want me to go, and I went anyway.
You know, I mean, we can go look, but you know, if you touch her and talk to her, you know, she's just going to give you one of those "I told you so" lectures.
I know.
Nobody needs to hear that right now.
No, I know. I don't want to talk to her. I just want to see her. I've wanted to see her for so long.
So we'll go see your mother. If that's something you want to do, I'll go with you. Archie and Amethyst, they're fine. We can go.
I just don't want Amethyst to be nervous with everybody being separated.
I think she will be okay.
Can I hear you guys? Am I close enough to hear you?
I mean,
You're just like on the front, like stoop of the forge, so
Yeah.
maybe. It depends on how close you are to the door and how much noise Archie's making.
So I'm gonna yell, "We're fine. Go ahead. We'll go with you if you want. I'll go with you if you want. Archie's got work to do."
It's not that
Busy.
far.
No, it's
I'm helping.
just a few blocks away.
Yeah, it's not that far.
We'll be here if you need us.
Okay.
Let's go see your mom.
Okay.
all right.
So we start walking.
You know, I think, as you said, it's not far. You certainly remember the way,
Mhm.
although, it's been a long time, both emotionally and literally, since you were last here. But you are greeted of the sight of her even before you expected, because as you make your way, like, down the alley to where the front door of your house is, you see that she's actually standing out in the yard, frozen in the act of yelling at a neighborhood kid who is running through the garden.
Look, Cadence. There
It's
she
like-
is. It's like nothing
like-
ever changed.
Yeah. Oh man,
She's still yelling.
it's just like real life, man.
Can you imagine if you were to unfreeze her now? What curses she would lay out?
Yeah. But I think she would be happy. I'm not going to,
No.
but I think that she would be happy. As she was telling me, she told me so.
We'll get to have a proper homecoming one of these days. Today's not that day, but
No,
one of these days we will have a proper homecoming.
I know. You want to go see your mom and dad?
No.
Okay.
Is it everything you hoped it would be?
Yeah.
You're a woman of few words, Cadence.
It's hard, and
It's okay.
I never thought that I would miss her that much, you know? And she was always so, after, you know, she was just so unhappy and so angry all the time.
Yeah, I know.
That, you know, when I left, I was like, I wouldn't, you know, it's like that silly thing. You leave, you're like, I'm not even going to miss her.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, you're gone for like 2 weeks and you're like, I miss my mom.
Yeah, I know. If it helps any, when all this is over, you can just blame everything on me. I
Oh,
mean,
she will definitely already think that
She
it's
always
probably
blamed me anyway. Yeah, she always blamed me for everything anyway.
because you were a bad influence.
I was. I know.
Hmm.
I know. But I'll tell you what, though. Your mom makes a mean pork sandwich.
Yeah, she does.
I'm looking forward to that when all this is set right.
Yeah, me too. I'm even looking forward to her yelling at me. So.
I'm looking forward to her yelling at you, too.
Alright. So, Amethyst, you're just hanging out, kind of, are you sort of keeping Archie company, or are you kind of off thinking to yourself a little bit, or?
I've just got Arwen out and feeding her some carrots and just chilling out. I don't know, are there any trees nearby? Near the smithy?
Yeah, I think so. There are definitely sort of, desert type trees, there's some palm trees and, other trees that don't require a whole lot of water.
Yeah. As long as I'm not going to be getting close enough to disturb anybody, I'll go chill out under a tree and
I think you
just keep
guys
an eye
have
on everybody.
started to realize that it does seem to require you to be, have kind of an intention to do it.
Okay.
Like, you're not waking people up by accident.
Okay. Just chilling with nature as much as I can.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that the bigger tree is further away, and so I just
Yeah.
want to stay where everybody expects us to be.
Sure. Yeah. Nature still feels a little weird here, kind of doubly so because it's, of course, still in the astral sea,
Mhm.
but and also because it's frozen in time even beyond what the astral sea would do. But, you can still feel, the connection is not broken, it's just quiet right now.
She's going to cast plant growth on the little trees that she's under just to give it a little extra oomph.
The trees suddenly like sprout up and grow like much more lush. You know, they are unfrozen in time as they are influenced by your spell.
Sweet.
And then they gradually, as the effect of the spell fades, kind of once again sort of slow, but they're now sort of much more bigger, much bigger and more sort of lush and vibrant.
Nice.
All right. Well, I think on that chill note, I think we're going to actually draw things to a close for this episode. Partly because I want to prepare some things for everyone going back over to the Barrier Mountains. You arrive to discover something has happened.
Oh,
That's the
no,
cliffhanger.
not something.
Yeah,
Bum.
that's the cliffhanger.
Nothing.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. The episode is titled Under the Mountain, and now we're like
Well,
not there anymore.
I cannot
Directions
imagine
changed.
why I thought that you guys were planning to go down to follow the army down at the
I know.
Shama.
I'm sure Under the
something gave
Mountain
me
is-
that impression. I don't know. It was all me, I guess.
Yeah,
It's just an expression, like under the weather. You're not
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
under the weather. You're under the mountain. It's just the weight of the responsibilities.
No,
that we
it's
get to
it's
do.
fine. It's great. There's no worries. I'm just teasing. But yes. So, but next time we will find out. We will follow Nira and Alaric as they travel to the Barrier Mountains, and all of you as you continue to figure out what next. Okay, here's I'm just like, you arrive. And just as you arrive under the Barrier Mountains, your glasses break, and you say, "No, there was time now."
That's my favorite episode ever.
So, good night, everybody.
We'll see y'all next
How
time.
many levels?
We'll be back next time.
So many levels!
Adventure.
So
So many levels.
Perfect.